We ready? Is it time? You ready? Yes, ma'am. Well, good evening, everybody. It is a true privilege for all of us to be here tonight as we hear from these outstanding individuals who are running for Gonzales City Mayor. I want to thank them in person for their courage and their desire to serve and lead the city of Gonzales. My name is David Alexander. I have the honor of being the president and CEO at the Chamber of Commerce, and it is our pleasure to be hosting this event tonight, but obviously we could not do that without the generosity of AP Gov, my good friend Jerry's Carey over here, but Parish President Clint Quintmall, Pam Matassa and her crew. We're just really grateful for the effort that they've put into this to make this event happen. I also want to give a shout out to Ms. Bridget Hanna, our clerk of court, who's been a big help with this, and our Chamber Board of Directors, along with the Chamber's Government Affairs and Advocacy Network, who has helped to orchestrate all of this. I don't have much else to say. I do want to tell you that tonight's event will be moderated, and I'm going to introduce our moderator here, Trey Sullivan, Esquire. Trey Sullivan is the son of Honorable Mayor Leroy J. Sullivan, Sr. of Donaldsonville, Louisiana, and Erica Manna, a registered nurse, RN. He has 4 siblings: Latanya Sullivan Prejean, a lieutenant for the Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office; Leroy J. Sullivan, Jr., currently serving his 25th year in the United States Air Force as a Chief Master Sergeant; Nyla Sullivan Allen, a registered nurse; and Trent Sullivan, a biochemistry graduate of Louisiana State University, currently pursuing a master's degree at Mississippi College and will be attending medical school in the fall of 2025. Trey is a native of Donaldsonville, Louisiana, an alumnus of Donaldsonville High School, where he graduated number 3 in his class in 2010. He was fortunate to attend Louisiana State University, where he received his bachelor's degree in business with a minor in entrepreneurship in 2014. He was blessed with the opportunity to play 4 years of football at LSU, which he initially walked on and subsequently earned an athletic scholarship. Football inspired his interest in sports law, and while in law school, he began his first business venture where he serves as the founder CEO of Napoleon Sports Group, a Louisiana-based sports and entertainment agency. Recently, he graduated from Southern University Law Center and Southern University College of Business in May of 2019. He received a dual JD MBA degree, the first student to successfully matriculate through this program. He received cum laude honors as he had finished in the top 15% of his class in the JD program and the top of the class in the MBA program. Moreover, Trey passed the Louisiana State Bar exam in July of 2019 and was sworn in on October 14th, 2019. On June 16th, 2020, he started the Sullivan Firm, a full-service Louisiana-based law firm in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Trey received recognition by lawyers of distinction for excellence in general practice law in 21 through 24. He was also recognized by the American Institute of Legal Counsel as the 10 best general practice attorneys of Louisiana in 2021. In addition to his private practice, he works with Indigent Defenders Board for the parishes of Ascension and Assumption, where he represents the indigent defendants in misdemeanor and felony court. Trey remains open to new opportunities that will mold him to be a better attorney, businessman, philanthropist, and regardless of geographical location, he intends to continue to pursue this excellence. It's been an honor and a pleasure to get to know you, sir. Thank you for being here tonight to facilitate this. I am turning this over to you now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Alexander, for that beautiful introduction. It's humbling when you hear an introduction of yourself, because in my mind it's like, man, it's kind of hard to believe that one person did all that, let alone me, you know. But especially in such a short period of time. But I am honored to be your moderator for tonight. I am honored to be in the presence of such astute gentleman and lady, and such great candidates for the mayor of Gonzales seat. And I promise I always get on my dad for being long-winded, so I promise I will not be long-winded with you guys. We will start off with introductions of the candidates, and we will start with Mr. Harold Stewart.
Good afternoon. My name is Harold Stewart. I'm a lifelong resident of Ascension Parish. I'm from Galvez, Louisiana. From Galvez, I graduated from Santa Mall, and I went to Louisiana Technical College. I graduated from there, and from there I went into business. I've been in business for the last 40 years. From business, my life took a turn, and I ended up in public service. So I've been in politics for the last 15 years of that 40 years, and I've worked for 15 years under two administrations, two different administrations in government. When I seen that Mr. Barney Arsenault was promoted, I knew then it was time for me to step up and do something for the city of Gonzales. So that's why tonight I stepped up to run for mayor. One thing about Gonzales, I love Gonzales. I love the people of Gonzales. I love the faith in this city also, and especially our education institution is definitely the backbone of Ascension Parish. That's it.
Next, we will have Ms. Kimlin Lomas.
Good evening, and thank you all for being here. I would like to thank Ascension Chamber for putting on this forum. It's an avenue for you guys to know who we are and what we believe in. So I'll start by telling you that as your mayor in 2024, from myself, you will receive education and experience. Education by way of a bachelor's degree in business administration, where I was a cum laude graduate. I'm also have certifications in project management as well as accounting. As far as experience, I have 20 years in public service. I've served in local, parish, and state government in roles such as a program manager, a paralegal, an administrator, and so forth. I am experienced, I am experienced in emergency training, emergency preparedness. I'm trained, and I also have taken the time to be an Intel planning and section leader here in the parish of Ascension for 12 and a half years. I was born and raised here. My parents, my daughters were all educated through the system in the city of Gonzales. Gonzales has a large base of native residents, and we want to maintain that fiber of the city that we know. As far as boards, I am on your planning and zoning board for the city of Gonzales, and we meet every Monday in the month. I would implore you guys to come out and engage, because an aware community and an engaged community brings good government, and that's what I look to bring to the city of Gonzales. As your next mayor, I'm going to improve our infrastructure as well as our drainage. Smart connectivity is high on my platform. I believe in public transportation, moving our citizens from one end of the city to the other. And that's something that we've long needed, and it's time for us to have that. In my first year, I intend to look at public transportation strongly and get that implemented. But I ask you guys to give us a chance so you can hear our platform, what we stand for, and who is the best person to lead Gonzales forward. It is time, it is now. I am number 38 on your ballot, Kimlin Bailey Lomas for mayor.
Nice. Next, we will have Mr. Terrence Irvin.
Good afternoon. My name is Terrence Irvin. First of all, thank you, Chambers of Commerce, for giving us this opportunity. My name is Terrence Irvin, lifelong resident of the city of Gonzales. I began my public service career in 2000, and a little bit before that. But my motivation came from my wonderful parents, Melvin Irvin Jr. and Nell Irvin. Mr. Irvin became the first black mayor, the first black school board member of the Ascension Parish School Board. He also became the first black president of the school board, and then became the first black school board member. It was his influence on my life that brought me to the public service arena. From there, he raised his family through a business called the Viewpoint Construction and Development. He built subdivisions where I learned infrastructure. From there, I became a commissioner to the planning and zoning, where I learned the structuring of communities and business and community development. Transitioned to the council for 16 years, and there I became appointed by the council as the first black mayor pro tem. My agenda for the city of Gonzales is to move Gonzales forward in a positive manner, understanding the concept of infrastructure, which is the base to leading economic development, and bringing people together to make this happen. I need your support, and with your support, this can take place. As we move forward and positioning the city of Gonzales for success, I ask that you join me, support me, and let's make this happen. My name is Terrence Irvin, candidate for mayor of the city of Gonzales. My number is number 37, and I humbly ask you for your support. Thank you.
And last, we will have Mr. Tim Riley.
When I ran for council, I made a promise to the citizens of Gonzales to represent your will and to be of service. I've tried my best to keep that promise. As your mayor, I will continue to do so. We've enjoyed success in the past. Continued blessed businesses investments is a key to our future success. Gonzales will take in almost $19 million in sales tax this year. That money makes up about 70% of the general fund and much of the capital outlay. Healthy retail sales are vital to Gonzales. As mayor, I will focus on attracting commercial investments to create better paying jobs. Targeting Highway 44, already zoned for commercial. The corridors has the only remaining acreage to develop. New investments is important, but so is improving what we have. Mayor Tim Riley will clean up the city, rehabbing blighted or abandoned properties to make Gonzales even more attractive. None of these goals are possible without a real partnership with business. I look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Riley. So just to kind of give the audience a quick layout of the format, we do have 3 questions that the candidates already had prior to arriving here this evening. We will go in a predetermined order and allow a 1-minute response if any candidate chooses to respond, and each candidate does have 2 minutes each to respond to the questions. After we get through questions 1 through 3, we do have 2 code questions that we will pull from the cards that you guys filled out in the audience, and follow the same format that we did for questions 1 through 3. So we will get into question number 1, and first up we do have, let's see, Ms. Kimlin Bailey Lomas. And the first question is, how do you plan to involve the citizens and or business leaders and all stakeholders of Gonzales in decision-making process for the city?
Thank you. I think the decision-making process for the city of Gonzales is very important, and we need to have engagement. So involving our citizens, our businesses, and our stakeholders are at the top of the list. Bringing you guys out to hear where we are and what we're doing with your taxpayer dollar is very important. I intend to host community town hall meetings in my first year as mayor, bringing people out to hear their ideas, and moving on to conducting State of the City addresses once a year. And what that does is allow us to talk to our residents and see what their perspective is on what's going forward and what we currently have going on. I feel like we need to build a coalition between the citizens, our businesses, our stakeholders, as well as our religious leaders. Because let's face it, guys, those are the people that lead our community. And we want them all at the table so we all know what's going on and we all can contribute from what we're hearing from outside of the walls of elected officials. By conducting an annual leadership summit, it allows us to also engage our youth. We bring the youth in and show them how government is actually functioning and implore them to try to go off and get their education, coming back to the city and working at home where we need them. I would also conduct city community meetings once a month. And that would have everyone come out, and what I'd have my departmental directors do is explain to the citizens what we're doing with their taxpayer dollars. Yeah, because I hear every day as I knock on doors, people want to know, where are my dollars going? Are they working for me? And I feel like the directors of every department are the best people to explain that to you, because they can explain to you what day-to-day operations look like. Myself, having managed day-to-day operations, I know it takes on more than what's the perspective is. Because you see a guy sitting in a truck, it doesn't mean that he's not working. He could be a supervisor filling out work orders, or simply replying to an email or something of that nature telling him where's his next work site. But I definitely agree that we should have the citizens, the stakeholders, and the businesses at every meeting, so they will have a say and understand what we're bringing to the community and what we have to offer. I'm sorry. I apologize. Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lomas. Next, we will have. You okay?
I'm sorry. I apologize. I have an upper respiratory infection, so I'm good.
We're gonna give her a minute to catch her breath before we move forward. You sure? Okay. Next, we have Mr. Terrence Irvin.
I too believe that it is very important that we involve and engage the community, because that's where the ideas are going to come from on the needs in our community as far as public service. It can easily begin, and I will, as the mayor, begin by educating the community through community meetings and educating them about the responsibilities of each department, from drainage to roads, from recreation. From there, we will gather the needs and the understanding from the citizens of Gonzales. We then take that information and report it back from discoveries to the citizens on how to approach it. I will work with the council, quite naturally, to inform this community and accomplish where we need to make those investments in order for the public service to be performed and delivered. The quality of life will come from, and how to manage it will come from the guidance of our community. I am one of the mayors that would lead from behind. Putting the people first will be my avenue and my approach to understanding and investing in the quality of life in the city of Gonzales. This can be easily done with the help of the community. And I applaud you to assist by getting involved also. And so engaging the community is the #1 factor, is in involving the community and educating the community. I think that will position us for future success. Thank you.
Thank you. And next we will have Mr. Tim Riley.
I'm glad to see you put the citizens first, because that is what Mayor Tim Riley will always do. That doesn't mean that business leaders doesn't matter. Gonzales cannot thrive unless businesses succeed. I have been as available to the public as any elected official in Gonzales history. My record speaks for itself. The Riley campaign and my administration welcomes everyone input about any issue. Diversity of viewpoints leads to better decision-making, considering all interests in the only way to balance those interests fairly. I believe in experts. When it comes to economic development, I will rely on your advice, along with AEDC. As I've said, Gonzales and its citizens cannot thrive unless business leaders succeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Riley. Last, we will have Mr. Harold Stewart.
Well, in my decision and process of business, the people of Gonzales, the citizens of Gonzales come first. I would make sure that I stay in contact with them with the process of information that we have, and I will make sure that I do neighborhood meetings, town hall meetings, and also I'll make sure that I hope they will come to council meeting. I would keep that process going, you know. I remember one time that I was a homeowner's president of a neighborhood, and we had Mr. Johnny Berthelot when he was mayor. He would come over when we had issues and we needed to talk about something. Johnny would come to the neighborhood and we would solve the problem there. So that's three ways that I would do this, you know. So either neighborhood meetings, town hall meetings, and bring the people together and with the process and explain things to them as needed, or council meeting. And and coming to my business leaders, it was just basically like it always has been, an everyday lunching for my business leaders and my stakeholders also. I will continue the tradition of having them have lunch, and we discuss the inputs of the city. That's it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Stewart. So now we will have the responses. First up, we'll have Mr. Irvin. Do you have a response?
No, sir, no response.
Okay, Mr. Irvin passes on his opportunity to respond to question one. Mr. Riley, any response?
No response.
Okay, Mr. Stewart?
No response.
All right, and Ms. Lomas?
I would never pass up the chance to talk to the citizens about taking place in the city of Gonzales. I would love to see you guys, stakeholders, citizens, religious leaders, and everyone in our community to come out and be a part of our growing city. You see what's happening around you, and you shouldn't have to question what's taking place. Come out, be a part of it, because you live here, you drive this city. You also pay into a tax base, and it's very important that you know what we're doing with your dollars. And as mayor, I will be accountable and transparent, but I look to see all of you again. When I take position as mayor of this city, I intend to see you all in the room, at the table, ready for decisions. Thank you, Gonzales.
All right, thank you. Now we'll move to question two. And question two is, every local candidate mentions they support economic development to grow opportunities and jobs. What specifically would you do? And we're going to start question two with Mr. Riley.
Let me begin with what I will not do. I won't reinvent the wheel. The city of Gonzales is successful, and I will continue what has made us successful. $100,000 has been budgeted annually for AEDC. It has marked parcels in the city and Ascension Parish. We have all done well. I will ask Kate MacArthur and her team to focus on the Highway 4430 corridor. The property is zoned commercial, and we'll market it with willing landowners. There are rooms for improvement. I'll focus on creating better paying jobs for our citizens, especially our young people. With 2 major hospitals in a mile radius, I want to be the medical hub for the river parishes. Shout out to Interim Mayor Roland Percy. Another idea to consider is an I-10 service road connecting 44 and 30. Diverting Highway 30 traffic is always a good idea. Thank you.
All right. Next, we have Mr. Stewart.
Well, to grow opportunity and jobs, I will continue our 7-year plan of finishing the development of our economic growth right now. We still have several businesses that's in compliance right now. I'll make sure that Heritage Cross is finished. I'll make sure that the Conway development is also finished, because all out there is retail, is jobs, and I'll make sure that all that is done. And like I said, we still have our rail system that's gonna bring on jobs and income. So I'll make sure that I handle all that stuff first. And I do know that there's about $20 billion of industry coming through here. So I'll stay in contact with the stakeholders and the leaders for the near future to build better jobs with them for the people of Gonzales.
Ms. Bailey Lomas?
Yes, growing opportunities and jobs here in the city of Gonzales. So let's face it, Gonzales is now the mecca between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. We have the opportunity of a lifetime for our residents. So I would start with AEDC, working with them and see what they have taking place at this time. I would continue further in the message that Gonzales is a full-service turnkey city. We are self-sufficient, taking care of ourselves. I would work with RPCC to increase the training and to also promote STEAM. We would need to credit RPCC training with good paying jobs for our citizens. But picture this, a medical corridor at Edenborn, where our babies will now be born in the city of Gonzales. That's something we need to bring back. No longer traveling outside the city or to surrounding communities to see a specialist. We'll have everything we need on Edenborn. Those are the type of things where we provide opportunity and growth in this area. I would also like to see those same students at RPCC medically educated and trained in that corridor to give care to our residents here. Thank you.
And Mr. Irvin?
As the mayor of the city of Gonzales, quite naturally, we in the past have always worked with the different entities in the city of Gonzales to spur economic development. Quite naturally, yes, we will work with the school system, also the community colleges, because of the concern of job training and developing skills with those children as they move into the future. And also with local organizations that's in the business of development and having them form opportunities also for themselves. But the city of Gonzales and the mayorship can do things for them, something for themselves as far as working in the areas of infrastructure. What that can be, for example, picture a service road from 44 back to Dollar Street. This would open up that corridor where economic development would spur. Not only that, it would assist also in traffic congestion because it would allow traffic to move around the city of Gonzales. That also would contribute to the economic development opportunities with sales tax increasing. And that also generates revenues to replant back in the community. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Irvin. So now we'll give the opportunity for the 1 minute response, starting with Mr. Stewart. No response. Ms. Bailey Lomas?
Yes. Again, I have something to say. I believe that economic development in the city of Gonzales has worked wonders for us so far, but it provides more for us in the future. And through our petrochemical industry, our entertainment, as well as travel, we have people, over 500,000 people passing through this area every day. So the opportunity is there. We must seize the moment in government. And under my leadership, I intend to do just that. Thank you.
You need another minute? Next, Mr. Irvin?
Response.
No response. And Mr. Riley?
No response.
All right. So now we'll move to our third and final question. Well, not final question, but final question that you guys had beforehand. How would you promote the city of Gonzales locally, statewide, and nationally? And we will start question 3 with Ms. Bailey Lomas.
Okay. For me, that would be no longer marketing Gonzales as just the jambalaya capital of the world. We are more than a black pot with flames under it and steam coming out of the top. Again, like I told you, we are the Mecca, centrally located between New Orleans and Baton Rouge. And it's time for Gonzales to stand up and show up. We have to show everyone what we have. And in order to do so, I think our petrochemical corridor is a known fact, and we need to promote it more, letting people know that here we provide well-paying jobs for our citizens. We're culturally diverse, let's face it. We're an enormous melting pot at this point. Gonzales has everything that you want. All you have to do is come here. If we can direct people here to see what we have, they will more than love to live here. We're located in proximity to Bayou Country. We're in the middle of the river region, right? So I have the relationships and the networks established to move us along. I have the know-how to get us to where we need to go, having worked on the state level. I implore our interim mayor for rebranding. That is a great thing he's doing with our city. If you all are not aware, he is. He's rebranding Gonzales to show us in a more positive light and also bringing our image to the forefront so other communities will see exactly what we have to offer. Gonzales, this is our brand, the place where you eat, sleep, play, live, work, and thrive here in our community. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Mr. Irvin.
Well, as the mayor of the city of Gonzales, we have currently systems in place already that we can utilize without having to duplicate and promote the city of Gonzales. I would take advantage of the social media and media sources to promote all of the pluses that the city of Gonzales offer our community and surrounding communities. One of the avenues I would choose to take advantage of is the Tourist Commission. Piggyback off the services that they are promoting in the state of Louisiana, and we join with them. An example would be something as simple as litter control throughout the city of Gonzales and also the state of Louisiana. And there are other avenues that we can take advantage of, like LMA. We currently have a former mayor of the city of Gonzales who is now the department director for LMA. This is where I would go to learn the best practices on what other communities are doing, the positives and the negatives, but focus on the positives and the strength and move forward as I come back to the council and educate them on where we stand. The National Leagues of City, again, another network to take advantage of. And so I would move forward by utilizing the services that we currently have in place in the city of Gonzales and promote Gonzales through those avenues and be efficient by doing so. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Riley?
I thought that's what you guys did. Look, I'm no marketer, but I know we have a great product to sell. All you need to do is drive down Highway 30 or Airline to see how successful we have been while other cities in Louisiana are struggling. The best sales pitch I can think of is continued success and more efficiency at City Hall. First and foremost, I serve the residents of Gonzales. The positive word of mouth is the only promotion I care about. I'll earn their approval by performance, not promoting gimmicks and the rest. I'll leave that to the experts. We hired Emerging Methods with a grant from LED recently, and they are supposed to develop opportunities and promote Gonzales. I support the effort to look forward to seeing the finished product. I do intend to establish a better working relationship with Ascension Parish. There are many opportunities for mutual benefit and positive press release if we work together. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Stewart?
Yes, well, as mayor, I will pursue getting out the information that's to help that our story is told locally, state, and nationwide. I want the country to know that Gonzales is a place that you can be educated, open a business, and raise a family. And I would make sure that I continue the relationship with Emergent Method to make that continue to happen.
All right, thank you, sir. Now we have the opportunity to respond. We're going to start with Mr. Irvin.
No response.
No response. Mr. Riley?
No response.
Mr. Stewart?
No response.
And Ms. Bailey Lomas.
Sure.
Why not?
I agree, as I stated, with the interim mayor that has brought in the company to help us promote. But as you can see, we are not doing a stellar enough job promoting Gonzales. And word of mouth is good, but your word of mouth only reaches so far. We're trying to reach the national level. We want everyone to know what Gonzales has to offer. We don't want it to be a small amount of people. Social media is fine, but it's not getting the job done because it's too often that our citizens are not aware of what we have going on in the community. So I definitely will take the opportunity as your leader to show Gonzales in a more positive light, and also to get our message out at national meetings and across the country. And LMA, as one of my candidates said, is a good platform. But however, your mouth, my mouth, and everything that we can put together to let people know how great our city is, guys, we need to be on that job all the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bailey Lomas, for your response. So I was just handed the 2 code questions from the audience. Very, very well thought out questions by the audience, so thank you for those. The quarterback lined up underneath the guard instead of the center, huh?
Looks like a fumble.
Well, I will repeat what I said so that you all can hear me. I said I did receive the 2 code questions from the audience. They're very well thought out questions, so thank you, audience, for these questions. So being that the candidates did not have these questions beforehand, I'll read the question, allow them about 2 minutes or so to kind of prepare their response, and then allow them to start responding in the particular order. And I will also repeat the question before each of you guys respond. That way we don't have any ambiguity on what the question was. Fair? Yes, ma'am.
So, when they start speaking, I start timing the 2 minutes, just like the other one?
Yes.
Let them think?
Yes, and then if you can hold up your stop at the 2 minutes so that we can know that the 2 minutes is time for us to roll with the first one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so question number 4 is going to be, what do you consider the most pressing issues facing Gonzales, and how would you prioritize them? Some leading examples to consider are crime, infrastructure to include drainage, transportation to include public transportation, recreation, and economic development. Ms. Bates, please start the 2 minutes. Or do you guys need me to repeat that question?
Repeat.
Okay. It is a little convoluted. So what do you consider the most pressing issues facing Gonzales, and how would you prioritize them? Some leading examples to consider are crime, infrastructure to include drainage, transportation to include public transportation, recreation, and economic development. All right, so we are going to start question 4 with Mr. Riley. Your response, sir.
We have been blessed in the city of Gonzales, a strong tax base and good economy. Gonzales is wealthy, but there are challenges ahead. One of my opponents accused me of wanting to stop growth. That was a lie. I favor commercial development because it generates revenue. Every rooftop costs the city money. There's not much land left for development. We have to maximize those opportunities. The Highway 44, Highway 30 corridor, and its future development will determine our future success. As mayor, I will find out just how much infrastructure capacity we have. How much water can we provide? How much sewer treatment capacity we have left? Are the police and the fire department operating efficiently? Without these, there can be no development. I will know the answer before presenting next year's budget to the city council. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, we'll have Mr. Stewart. Would you like me to repeat the question, sir?
Yes, you can.
Okay. What do you consider the most pressing issues facing Gonzales, and how would you prioritize them? Some leading examples to consider are crime, infrastructure to include drainage, transportation to include public transportation, recreation, and economic development.
Well, I think our biggest issue right now, number one, as I walk the street and knock on doors, people are concerned about safety. So I will make sure when I am the mayor, that I would work very, very closely with the police chief and the police department to make sure they have everything they need so the people of Gonzales can be safe. Number two is drainage. You know, I will continue to make sure that, work with the parish government to make sure that all of our waterways are clear. I would also, with the city of Gonzales, I would add on another drainage crew, so we can do twice of the work within drainage. Pretty much, you know, because City of Gonzales is sitting on right now about $7 million in drainage. You know, one for Bayou Balls, detention pond. I will make sure that that's done because that will relieve a lot of water off a lot of people. The next thing is Kennedy Heights subdivision. There's $2.2 million. The bid have already went out for 1.7. I will make sure that that's done in drainage.
Thank you, sir. Next, we will have Ms. Bailey Lomas. Would you like me to repeat the question?
No, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I believe at this point it's time for Gonzales to move out of cruise control, and we need to go into overdrive. What that looks like is I will start with drainage and infrastructure. There's no more money left on the table. We need to use all of our resources, aggressively pursuing the federal and state match funding that we would need to move Gonzales along. We can proceed with our projects that's already been permitted by holding our own. Again, being a full-service turnkey city, a lot of things we can start ourselves and continue to seek federal matches and even state matches. As far as the drainage and infrastructure, we need to start our projects. We cannot complete them until they're started. And we must start them as soon as possible because it may be 10 to 12 years down the road for completion, but they have to start somewhere. Move on to public transportation. We are in dire need of so. I envision a trolley that takes our citizens across the city from one end to the other. Also stopping at Cabela's Parkway, Tanger Mall, Lamar Dixon, and coming over to Premier Entertainment Center. That connects our city, and connectivity is very important. As far as recreation, sure, we need some improving, but our recreation programs have been pretty stellar over the years. However, at this point, recreation is the entire body. We need to look to help the adolescents. We need something for the elderly and everyone in our community, which STEM, and different programs we can utilize the classrooms at the Pace Center as well as the Freeland Jackson Center to get these things rolling. Gonzales, again, let's get the ball rolling. All hands on deck, let's move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And last, we'll have Mr. Irvin.
I have one question. You said transportation or public transportation? I just wanted to make sure I was clear on it.
Yes, sir. I'll repeat the entire question for you.
Oh, okay.
What do you consider the most pressing issues facing Gonzales, and how would you prioritize them? Some leading examples to consider are crime, infrastructure to include drainage, transportation to include public transportation, recreation, and economic development.
Thank you for the
Yes, sir.
repeat to Mr. Trey.
Yes, sir.
Pressing issues in front of us right now are pretty much each department that's been mentioned. To address this, currently, the city of Gonzales is addressing those issues. So I say, as the mayor, I will multitask. To prioritize, it would probably begin with public safety. I will work very close with the city police department, knowing that the chief of police is elected by the people, and provide them with the resources that are necessary to keep us safe in this community. The second question is infrastructure. I strongly believe that the city of Gonzales can do and build some streets itself. That's why I lean on the corridor, building a service road to spur economic development and relieve some of the traffic congestion on Highway 30 and 44. But I would also work with DOTD, the state agencies, and the federal agencies to work toward and assist in the state traffic also. Drainage. Currently, the Drainage Department has one team operating, and they have had that team since I was elected in 2000. Now we need two teams. We need to expand those two departments. I would take one team and encourage them to focus on the south portion of the Gonzales, and the other is the northern part of Gonzales. Public transportation is a necessity. As we grow, I think there will be a more demand there. But I think I would look into studying it to see if it's efficient for the city of Gonzales to be a part of. Recreation. Recreation at this point in time, there's a need for programs. And I will look toward programs that are in place already to introduce to the city of Gonzales. One of the programs that I'm passionate about is the Boys and Girls Club. And so I will tackle these particular issues as the mayor of the city of Gonzales from that perspective. Thank you for the question.
Thank you for your response, sir. Now we will allow 1 minute for the candidates to respond. We will start with Mr. Stewart. Any response, sir?
No.
Mr. Stewart waives his right to respond. Ms. Bailey Lomas, any response, ma'am?
Yes, I neglected to mention public safety, and what I want to say to you guys is we understand that law enforcement and the public safety as a whole has been under-resourced. We look to give additional funding to the chief as he asked for a couple of meetings ago at the end of the year, and again this year. But we do understand that that hinders our response time, right? So what we need to do is to look to put money in places that we need them immediately. Public safety is one of the things that should be tackled up front. We have so many rooftops and so many citizens added in the city of Gonzales. We need to make sure that our law enforcement will be able to police all of the citizens that we've added. So we need to grow that body. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Irvin, any response?
No response.
And Mr. Riley?
Yes, being the Drainage Commissioner, Mr. Stewart mentioned that Kennedy Heights was awarded about $2.2 million. It was $1.7 million, and the city is on the hook to put up the other $200,000. Secondly, Bayou Ball Detention, we got about $4.6 million, and we're a little short on that as well. And we're working with the parish to help us to make that possible as well. And I want to say as well, no development can happen unless we check how much capacity we have in sewer treatment and how much water can we provide. We have to know those things. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we will move to our final question. Again, I'll read the question and allow the candidates 2 minutes to gather their thoughts. So the final question is, every city must set priorities for allocation of limited resources. Currently, the city of Gonzales spends 60% of its budget on public safety and 8% on streets and drainage. How would your administration allocate resources? No, you got 2 minutes to.
Mr. Riley?
No, not yet, sir. Madam Timekeeper, how are we looking on time? Good? Oh, it's not? I'm sorry. Ms. Bailey Lomas, please start us off with your response, ma'am.
Yes, I do believe that that's a really good question. 60% on public safety is needed, but I believe in a balanced budget. And 8% in drainage is unheard of. It's unbelievable with the problems we have with our drainage in the city of Gonzales. Councilman said Bayou Ball and Southwood. That project has been permitted. It's ready to go. It needs $1 million from the city. The city has $30 million in unrestricted funds. What are we waiting for? Gonzales, again, it's time to grow up and it's time for us to show up. And in doing so, what we need to do is be at the table in the discussions. Capital Region Planning Commission meeting, Amy River Basin, East Ascension drainage, those things, the city has to show up. We have to be there. And under my leadership, I'm looking for an infrastructure director, a person that is there accountable to bring that information back to me, to my office, so we can utilize it. 8% on drainage is just not enough. And a balanced budget is what I bring to you, because that enables us to do everything that we need to do. Again, those match funds from federal and state government, we have to aggressively pursue those things. And that is the way to get Gonzales on the track and where we're trying to go. We are going to be more than just that jambalaya pot, yeah? I need you guys to see that Mecca. I need you to envision that, because that's where we're going. Now, in 4 years, I may not arrive, but you can believe we're gonna work very hard toward getting there. And again, a balanced budget is what we need. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, we'll have Mr. Irvin. Would you like me to repeat the question, sir?
No, sir. Thank you very much for the question. Appropriation and balancing budget is extremely important on how we prepare our city financially. My direction to each department, including the public safety department, which consists of the chief of police and also the fire department, I will encourage them to reduce their spending by prioritizing. What does that mean? That simply means that asking them to purchase that particular fiscal year what is necessary. What that creates is a reduction in purchasing and spending. And so when that happens, along with the other departments performing at the same mecca, now we have savings that we're creating, not services being denied funding, but we have savings that we can now pinch from and put toward growing our investments portfolio. And so I think by encouraging each department to work with me by reducing and prioritizing their spending will create revenues to invest toward the public services that the community depends upon. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have Mr. Riley. Would you like me to repeat the question, sir?
No, sir. There's an issue that doesn't get talked about enough. Blotted or abandoned properties. We're always wrapped up in new, shiny objects. But we are missing some good, real opportunities to make Gonzales better. I'm thinking of old Gonzales from Edenbourne West to Burnside. I don't know if a passenger rail project is coming. I do know old Gonzales needs a facelift, and Burnside could use one too. I will seek small businesses, investments, with incentives from the city. I will fight for every state and federal dollar available. Grants, or maybe an enterprise zone. Whatever we can do to rehub the city will be considered. I don't want to miss don't want to see a single empty building. Not one rundown storefront along Burnside Avenue. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Stewart, would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes.
So the question is, every city must set priorities for allocation of limited resources. Currently, the city of Gonzales spends 60% of its budget on public safety and 8% on streets and drainage. How would your administration allocate resources?
Well, 60% of public safety, that's for police and fire department. 60% is acceptable. Actually, between our fire department and our police department, $13 million of our budget, out of 18 million, goes towards our police department. But the most important thing is public safety is very, very important. I will keep that 60% moving forward, and even I would add to it, maybe 2 or 3%, maybe 2 more police, another detective, and also add maybe 2 more firemen. It would not hurt our budget at this point. And let's talk about the 8%, the 8% in drainage. The reason why our drainage 8% is so low is because we have capital outlet money. In the last debate, I talked about that money. I talked about the millions of dollars in capital outlet that we get in drainage. And but the problem is, I do want to correct something what Mr. Riley said about the $2 million, that $2 million grant that came in for drainage. And that $2 million that came in, it was $2 million. The bid went out for 1.7. I just want to make that correction. But as I say, with drainage, I will keep that at 8% in drainage until I see that I need to increase it to 8.2 or 8.3%. So far, the city of Gonzales has been doing fine. I said earlier that I would be willing to add on another drainage crew. That would bring me to probably 8.2 with equipment, men's. Thank you.
Thank you for your response, sir. Now we'll give the 1-minute opportunity for each candidate to respond to question number 5. First up, we have Mr. Irvin. Any response, sir?
No response, sir.
Mr. Irvin waives his response. Mr. Riley?
Yes, the police budget is about 40% of the entire budget. They get over $8.1 million presently, not $18 million. Just wanted to correct that.
Thank you for that, sir. And Mr. Stewart?
Well, yes, I want to rebuttal. I didn't say, I said it took $18 million a year to actually run and operate this city. And I said 13 million of the 18 million went towards public safety. That's what I said.
Thank you, sir. And Ms. Bailey Lomas. Any response, ma'am?
Yes. I would just like to add that, again, I believe in a balanced budget, and that's something that we have to continuously watch. But I also implored that you guys would be invited in community meetings monthly under my administration, and that's what I expect. And that at that time, again, that's when you are able to give me your vision and your ideas, and we can look at the budget and talk about it, because I'm sure you have some meaningful input that we can utilize in City Hall. But I want you to take this into consideration. If 8% of the funding goes to drainage, we have councilmen that are over different departments. So why aggressively did our drainage chairman not proceed to speak with the city about improving that number, increasing that number? 8% is just too low for drainage and all the problems we're having. And we need people to actively and aggressively pursue funding to give Gonzales what we need. And that means to increase those numbers. Again, I will include the citizens because it's truly people first, and then it's administration. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, so now, the last segment is we're gonna allow each candidate 2 minutes to give us a closing, just like they gave us an introduction. I don't believe you guys need any time to prepare those, so we'll just get started with Mr. Riley. Start us off, sir.
I want to thank the Chamber for hosting this important event. I look forward to a real partnership with you guys when I'm mayor. Gonzales has benefited from industrial expansions along the river. Highway 30 hotel rooms are filled with construction workers. 3 apartment complexes have other temporary residents of the city. What happens when the construction comes to an end? It may be decades away, but the end is coming. We must prepare for that day. As mayor, I will rely on your advice. As business leaders, we need to help you to diversify our local economy, attract that investment to meet the coming challenges. I don't claim to have all the answers, but I will ask the right questions. We're all in this together. Again, thank you for the opportunity. God bless you all, and God bless the city of Gonzales.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have Mr. Stewart.
I want to thank the chambers, thank the people that came out tonight. And I just want to say that after 15 years, I'm asking for your vote to be your next mayor. 3 things that I want to do is oversee, improve, and maintain the quality of life in Gonzales and move it forward. I'm number 40 on the ballot. I'm asking for your vote.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have Ms. Bailey Loomis.
Again, thank you guys for being here. What I want to tell you about myself is, remember I'm number 38 on your ballot. I ask for your support. I ask for your vote. But as a believer, I ask for your prayers. And I want you to pray for me, and I want you to pray for the best candidate for the city of Gonzales, okay? What separates me from the other candidates is while the guys were sitting on the city council, I was working to implement policies that have had a real impact on our community. I've spent my career making a difference in the community and across the state, leading initiatives that our citizens were in need of. I stepped up and I showed up every time. I know how to navigate the complexities of government to get the job done. I have the experience, I have the education, I have the true leadership, and I have the knowledge to bring Gonzales to a very prosperous future. Gonzales has been everything to us, and we have to, all 4 of us, give back to the city in which we live, and I intend to do just that. I bring forth to you a fresh perspective, new ideas, having never been elected. I bring to you a clean slate, but what I do deliver, and I promise that I will continue to deliver, is knowledge, experience, and education. And those 3 things as your mayor is going to propel our city forward. I ask that you work with me. I ask that you are present because I need your engagement. Every citizen is a part of the city of Gonzales. And as you leave this room, the message I'd like for you to take with you is that that lady is educated, she's experienced, she's prepared, knowledgeable, and ready to lead us forward. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And last but not least, we have Mr. Urban.
As we travel throughout the city of Gonzales, we experience the economic development. There's positive and there's negative. But I strongly believe, as the mayor of the city of Gonzales, I plan to practice 3 principles in moving the city forward. And those 3 principles are transparency, accountability, and fiscal responsibility. Together, I think that in plugging that into the administrating the strength and needs of the city of Gonzales, we can make a difference, and we can also position the city of Gonzales for future success. My name is Terrence Irvin. I'm a candidate for the mayor of the city of Gonzales. Number 37 is my number, and I humbly ask you for your support. Thank you.
And thank you, sir. So that concludes our questioning portion of our forum tonight. And as promised, I promise not to be long-winded. So I will not draw this out any longer. It has been my honor to be your moderator this evening. I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for putting it together. Special thanks to Ms. Trudy Bates, one of my favorite teachers ever of all time. And any and all other people that I may be leaving out that had fingerprints on putting this together tonight. Really appreciate it. I want to thank the audience for your support and your attendance. And I want to say to all 4 of our astute candidates that I am very, very proud of you guys. And I'm proud of your professionalism, and I'm proud of your hard working and running a clean campaign. And I believe Mr. Alexander asked me to close us out tonight. I don't think I have to turn the floor back over. So again, thank y'all for coming. Please get home safe, and don't forget to vote. Thank you.